Monk Mo Gang, you know what's going on. Listen, bro, at the end of the day, do not get discouraged. I repeat, do not get discouraged. You might see the race baiters, they get 40K subscribers in 1 week. They get 40K victims per week. That's 40K week dependent people per week. I repeat, that's 40K week dependent people per week. At the end of the day, I'd rather take the baby steps because listen, over time, the baby steps are gonna grow. They're gonna grow all the way to the top over time. But the weak people, they gotta take this step, this step, this step, quickly like that, and it's all gonna crumble. At the end of the day, you got to understand, I'd rather build a weak army that's strong, independent. They don't have to call for backup. You got to see it as when you a righteous man dropping righteous content. You dropping unpopular topics. I repeat, you dropping unpopular topics. My ecosystem is basically like the special forces of YouTube. I repeat, my content is basically like this. My ecosystem is like the special forces of YouTube. At the end of the day, my content is like the special ops of YouTube. At the end of the day, while the race baiters, while the victimhood mindset people, they're gonna grow 400K in 3 months span. They're gonna get 400K in 3 months. They're gonna have to race bait. That's a room, an ecosystem full of 400,000 weak-minded people. They're all gonna need backup versus the special forces. It's like the special forces versus the police. The special forces is a small group. It's a small ecosystem. But if something happens to one of them, one special force guy on his own can take out, 20 to 40 people at a time. Versus when you got the whole ecosystem full of strong special force ops, right? Then you got the police force, the victim mindset people. They're large. They hire anybody. Out of shape, it doesn't matter. They could barely run, they can't even chase the suspect. They can't even keep up. They're going to give up on pursuit. Back up. He ran down the street. They can't keep up. Special forces, they're not going to have to call backup. They're rarely going to have to call backup because they're strong and they're independent. They actually have the will for greatness. This is how you got to see the YouTube ground. A lot of people, they going to give up because they not talking about the popular topics. They don't got the 50 females in the background all twerking like King 6'8" the Great, like DDG. They're all, listen, Deshae DeFrost, they're all going to catch the SA charges just like Deshae Frost. He got multiple grape charges. I repeat, just like Deshae Frost, he got multiple grape charges. They're building a weak ecosystem. iShowSpeed, he's building a weak ecosystem. His subscribers don't even respect him. They're just laughing at him. They literally watch him to laugh at him. I repeat, they literally watch him to laugh at him. At the end of the day, you got to understand, as a righteous content creator, you're going to grow slower than them. But at least when you're growing, you're still going to get there. Trust me. It's going to take longer, but you're going to get there. You will get to 100K. You will get to 50K. You will get to 60K, but it's going to take longer. They're going to get to 50, 60K in 3 months. I repeat, they're going to get to 50K, 60K, 150K, 250K, 3 months top. They're going to move very fast. They're going to get 3,000 views. The dudes in the semen retention community, if they make straight female attraction videos every single day, they're going to have 4,000 subscribers and only drop 50 videos. Bandman Kevo, he got to peacock every video. He got to bring the ladies on every video. He got to bring the Instagram models on every single video. He got to teach methods how to scam and bypass the system so you can get locked up like 3 years like he did. At the end of the day, you got to understand, what ecosystem are they actually building, though? You got to understand, what ecosystem are they building? They got a room full of 150K weak subscribers that none of them are independent. All of them are going to need him. If he don't drop content, they fall apart. If I don't drop content, which isn't going to happen because I'm strong and independent, I'm telling all my subscribers, listen, don't just be a subscriber. Not only can you just subscribe to me, you could also drop content too. You could also drop unpopular topics too. You also don't gotta sell out too. You also don't gotta be a fake alpha male that's made up. An alpha male is a created player. A sigma male is a created player. A beta male is a created player. At the end of the day, you got to understand, you don't have to be that. You're gonna build a weak army. You might get there faster than me, but this is not a race. I repeat, it's all about longevity. Long term wise, you're gonna start losing subscribers because they're gonna be like, man, I'm tired of being weak. It's gonna get to a point in certain people like they're gonna be tired of being weak. Now, it's a majority that they ain't never gonna be tired of being weak. Their generation that's gonna come after them also gonna be weak. They gonna see the generation that come after me, my kids, they gonna have Lambo Uruses as soon as they 16, 18, sweet 16 is gonna be going crazy. They got their own beach house at 17 years old. Listen, at the end of the day, you got to understand they're gonna be living life. They got their own yachts. All my daughters gonna have their own yachts. All my sons gonna have their own yachts. If I got 12 kids, that's 12 different $3.5 million yachts. I repeat, if I got 12 kids, that's 12 $3.5 million Lambo yachts. At the end of the day, you got to understand, what are you really building? The numbers don't matter. It's all about quality over quantity. The red pill, they want you to chase all the women. They want you to get into all the debates. They want you to out alpha everybody. You got to be dominant against everybody. That's not true strength. How are you dominating a female? How are you dominating another male at that? Why do you have to dominate a human? Why can't you dominate your workout routine? I repeat, why can't you dominate your bis and tries? See, I only dominate my bis and tries, my chest and my legs. That's what I dominate. I dominate my six pack. I dominate my skin, so I got good skin. I dominate my lust. That's why I'm not a lustful type of guy. That's why I could be the good guy and not join the darker forces. Because the darker forces, they need the majority of people. Because they're weak alone. If they're alone, they're weak. They're gonna run, they're gonna hide. Just like the Sigma male, he gotta hide, he gotta be mysterious. That's not real authentic. If you can't go in front of her, why you gotta be mysterious? That shows she don't even like you, bro. At the end of the day, you got to understand. You have to see the bigger picture. Just because you're not gonna talk about DDG and you're gonna bring on an entourage of females or single mothers like DDG, then you're gonna have to tell them to go home and they didn't make it even though they quit their job to come on because they thought they had a chance. At the end of the day, they didn't have a chance, so now you gotta disappoint them. At the end of the day, the darker forces are gonna disappoint their people. The righteous is gonna build strong people. We're going to build mentally strong people. At the end of the day, we're going to build longevity. We're going to have an army full of longevity. They're going to have an army full of numbers. What is numbers to actual real warriors? What is numbers to guys who could hold the door open for women and not need the phone number afterwards? The alpha male, only time he holding the door open is if he already smashing. That's whack. I repeat, that's whack. That's lust. At the end of the day, the alpha male, he got baby mamas. He got kids with women he didn't even want to have kids with just because he was supposed to get laid. Oh, you're a RoboCop. At the end of the day, listen. Baby steps still add up. If you spend $12 every single day instead of spending $10,000, instead of spending $12,000 every day, you will still lose a lot of money over time. Spending 12, and you're not a millionaire. Eventually, you're going to look at your account over the years and be like, dang, $0. At the end of the day, you're still going to make it. Taking baby steps. You rather take baby steps than don't take no steps at all. Instead of being a victim, you could be a righteous. It may be slower, but at least you got a 9 to 5. At least you don't gotta go out, get raided like Hush Puppy for being a scammer because you wanted the Lambos right now. I need it now, JG Wentworth is my Lambo. I need it now. You didn't get it the righteous way. See, when a righteous get the Lambo, listen, the FBI, the feds, they not taking our Lambos. We got it the legal way. They're going to take their Lambos. It only took them 30 days to get a Lambo. It took them 90-day grind to get a Lambo. 90-day illegal grind to get a Lambo. It's going to take us, what, like 2-3 years? 3-4 years? At the end of the day, you got to understand. It's better late than never. Monk Mode Gang, you know what's going on. Listen, bro.